We got to start off with Kimani Vidal, still only about 32% rostered right now in Yahoo League. So for those of you that play in those shallow formats, 8-teamers, 10-teamers, you
Oh,
might have to spend considerable fab cash to get him on your squad as the ATL just picked off Josh Allen. Man, what a half by the Falcons. Only 7 seconds remaining, though they may be able to put 3 on the board with a quick strike. You look at Kimani Vidal. Again, you tore up Miami, 18 carries, 124 yards on the ground, 3 for 14 and a touchdown through the air. He was RB5 on the week. Appreciable yak per attempt at 3.44, forced 3 missed tackles, and a great schedule upcoming. He has the upper hand, despite the report that came out early on Sunday morning that Hassan Haskins was going to be that guy. Nah. Harbaugh says, you're a bunch of liars. I told you it was going to be Kimani Vidal. And sure enough, he absolutely delivered. So how much fab cash would you spend to get Vidal on your team? I think it's going to, at this juncture, probably take at least, 40% of your budget?
yeah, I was going to say probably 40 to 50% of my budget, especially if you're desperate at this position right now. Now, a lot more, I should say, injuries at the wide receiver position, but running backs are tough to pick up. I worried about the Chargers running back situation just because the offensive line has not been very good with the loss of Slater, their tackle. And Joe Alt was dealing with an injury. But, man, I mean, more than 100 rushing yards in his first NFL start. Like you said, you had Haskins, who appeared to be the top running back on the depth chart. But there Vidal was, and he breaks that 38-yard run. I do think they'll probably go with a hot hand situation, but I think he's the better back, the more efficient back. So, yeah, probably 40 to 50% of my fab cash right now after that performance.
Look, he's slick. He's got great feet. He's low to the ground. He's built like a fire hydrant, right? And he gets appreciable yards after contact. I want all of those things. Hassan Haskins is a bigger back. He's like 6'2", 220. A lot of people are like, oh, he's going to be the goal line guy. He's going to be the dude. No, Vidal was the guy primarily using red zone packages, and he absolutely delivered. I think he's here to stay at least in a 70-30, maybe 75-25 split moving forward. All right, let's move on to Bam Knight. Another erroneous report that came out on Sunday was that Bam Knight was going to be the lead back for this Arizona club. Now, if you plugged him in, you picked him off waivers, he actually delivered. Did Zonovan, that's his actual name, as he went for over 30 yards, had a rushing touchdown, 2 catches for 20. So double-digit fantasy output, but the yak per attempt not the greatest at 2.36, but he also forced 3 missed tackles. Next 3 games for him: Green Bay, number 18 in rush EPAD, then the bye, then at Dallas, yes, sir, please and thank you, number 26 in rush EPAD, then at Seattle, number 3 in that category. Michael Carter's still going to be involved. Amari DiMercato was banged up yesterday. What are your thoughts on Bam Knight? How much you willing to spend? If you got $100 of fab cash, you thinking like 10 to 15, a little bit more?
Yeah, maybe like 10 to 15. I do think he'll get some goal line work, but I mean, like you said, that report ends up being false. Carter plays every single snap on the first drive. We didn't see Knight until the second drive. Now, he does then go on to out-snap Carter. Unfortunately, I played Carter yesterday and made a trade for him in one league, played him to score an anytime touchdown, and then there's Bam Knight. That's what I like, though. It is probably going to be a heavy 2-man rotation even next week against the Packers. Then after that, they get that matchup against Dallas, though. So, I do kind of like Knight. So 15 to 20% I think is reasonable because I do think that'll get some goal line work.
Yeah, that's about it. It's still going to be a full-blown RBBC with him and Michael Carter. All right, let's go to a pair of Tampa wideouts. We don't know Mike Evans is going to be back. Oh, my goodness, Drake London. Oh, my God. Touchdown, Atlanta, as time expires in the first half. They're about to go up 28-7 on the Buffalo Bills. The camera pans over to Josh Allen. He just sits there bewildered, like, what the hell is going on? A 40-yard receiving touchdown in the half. What a half by the ATL, although he is out of bounds. Definitely, that's going to be short. That's going to be short, folks. Those points going to come off the board. His right foot out of bounds before the ball crosses the chalk and breaks the plane. So I think that's going to be erased here in short order on a review. Anyway, wide receivers in Tampa: Tez Johnson, Cameron Johnson, Barton College. I never heard of it. That's where Cameron Johnson went. And a guy that absolutely balled out yesterday, 4 targets, 4 catches, 64 yards, and a touchdown against San Francisco. We don't know the status of Ibuka as the Bears get in Caleb Williams. Touchdown, Chicago Bears!
No!
Chicago Bears!
No.
Hell yeah, 1-yard touchdown run for him. I wish it was a passing variety selfishly, but I will take it for fantasy football purposes. Bears, Dicka, Mini Dicka, Polistasic. Any interest in Cameron Johnson, Tez Johnson, with that wide receiver room and so much flux? Again, we don't know the status of Emeka Egbuka dealing with that hamstring.
Yeah, because we don't know the status, right? If you're desperate at that position, and there's a lot of injuries at that position. Now, there are some guys that are going to work their way back here, a guy like Christian Watson, eventually, but I would probably pick up Tez Johnson. I wouldn't get too crazy. Cameron Johnson. I liked Tez Johnson a lot more coming out of college. Right now, it's just a big unknown with this Egbuka injury. Mike Evans is going to come back, but I would try to buy cheap on both of those guys, to be honest with you, man, because they continue to rack up injuries. Every week, another wide receiver goes down with an injury.
Yeah, I'm looking like $4 to $7 for either one of those guys. I have a preference. It'd be Cameron over Tez. But again, I think it's going to be a mixed bag as Baker spreads the love around. How about smacking that booty? Kayshon Boutte in a homecoming in the LSU product in New Orleans. 5 targets, 5 grabs, 93 yards, not 1 but 2 touchdowns. On the season, number 8 and ADOT, number 2 in yards per target. He's averaging 16.7 yards per catch. Next 3 games at Tennessee. Love that matchup. Cleveland, which is struggling on the back end. Their strengths on the front end. And then Atlanta, who is really balling defensively tonight. How much for him? I'm thinking like 10 to 12.
Yep, 10 to 12, maybe even 15, man. Looked really good, and I liked him coming out of college. That offense looks damn good. I think he could be that number 2 wide receiver.
And last one, Tutu Atwell. Spend a couple of bucks, folks, with Puka Nacua out.